If you're a comic who wants your stand-up special to look as good as possible, in this video I'm going to break down Nish Kumar's latest Don't Kill My Vibe special, work out how it was filmed, what looks good, what could be improved, and whether it was successful. Let's go. If you're new here, my name's David at Affinity Media, and we specialise in creating stand-up comedy specials and comedy content online. Now, straight off the bat, there was something really interesting about this special, and a lot of my videographer friends all picked up on the same thing. I'll save that for the end, but get your guesses in the comments. So first of all, let's have a look at the camera angles. We've got a couple of straight-on shots. We've got a mid-shot where you can kind of see head to toe, and then we've got a close-up shot as well, otherwise known as a cowboy shot, where you only see the top half. We have a really cool 50-50 shot, and this is where Nish is on the left side of frame and the audience are on the right. And this is a really cool way of showing the comic's input and the audience feedback at the same time, where they might overlap. You can use these whilst the audience is still reacting to a joke, and a comic might have additional add-ons or secondary punchlines that they need to deliver quickly. This is a good way of seeing the comic's input and the audience's feedback whilst they might overlap. Now, this angle can also be used for a feeling of confrontation, or if we've got something controversial like a joke, hecklers, or crowd work, or maybe it's a joke that is purposely making the crowd feel uneasy. It really does then depict this one comic versus an entire room, and in this case we cut to the shot just as Nish drops the C-bomb for the first of many times in this special. Throughout the show we see some handheld camera shots picking up in different places, and I absolutely love this. We can delve into the science in a different video, but a shaky moving camera puts people on alert because we're unsure as to what exactly is going to happen next. Handheld shots can be great for walk-ons, ad-libbing, or crowd work. Now, because we only see this handheld shot from time to time and in different places, I wouldn't be surprised if we've just got one dedicated handheld operator who's just running around the venue and grabbing stuff from different angles so that they can be sprinkled in throughout the special. Again, I absolutely love handheld when it's done properly, and I've actually considered shooting an entire special fully handheld. Next thing that I liked was these low-down shots and moving cameras. We have a couple of low-down shots which is given the viewpoint of the first row of the audience. These look absolutely awesome and subconsciously can be used to give some authority to the comic depending on the topics. I like when we have these shots moving as well. We can see we've got the camera sweeping across the front row. There's a time and a place for this kind of movement, but I do think that it works well in Nish's show. From time to time I noticed this crane cam over the audience. It is rarely used, but it does look great. Now, on this crane shot I did notice that we see some monitor screens from cameras that will kind of be in the audience and around the venue. We can see that the room is kept very dark across the whole venue, and I did wonder if this was purposely done in the edit so that we didn't see the cameras. Next up is lighting and stage. We're starting to get into what makes this special look really unique. So the entire stage is filled with red light and haze. This looks absolutely awesome, and it's pretty rare for comics to do this. You would actually think more of bands and musicians, but it does make a really good point of difference. I love the red strips that are going right the way across the back of the stage. We then have these LED bars at the front. I'm slightly less sure on these, but as always, it's a personal preference, and my opinion means nothing because this is the internet. Now, my favorite part about the lighting is that we have the fill lights pointing down, and we see these when the cameras look up, getting that shot from the front row. Overall, the backlighting looks really nice and gives us a nice hair light, or what we would call a separation light in filmmaking, which just makes the subject stand out from the background. We do have this part at the end of the show where the lighting changes dramatically. We have this big blue downlight or spotlight at the end, and then the red up and down lighting drops off, so we have a pretty darkened black background. Now, honestly, I absolutely love the look of this, and there's a chance that I'd have preferred this lighting setup across the whole show. The blue lighting from behind again gives us a really nice separation light where the back of Nish is softly lit in a highlighted blue. So what was the really interesting thing that myself and the rest of our team noticed? Well, it's actually going to be the color grade. Now, we actually see this kind of really vibrant but quite harsh contrast, and you see that the darker colors of the shots, we call these the shadows, are heavily crushed. This is where something dark, or even maybe it's a dark gray, might get pulled down to appear darker and darker and almost black. Now, at first I personally wasn't sure on this color grade, again just personal preference, but after a few minutes really getting into the special, it works really well. Now, let's get boring for a second. There's normally two reasons that you would end up with a color grade like this. First up, and hopefully it is just a creative decision or preference. It might actually suit the comic. It might be a better way to create a point of difference when you're trying to retain a new audience that are going to land on your specials versus a few others. The second reason, which I hope is not the case, might be that there's been some kind of lighting or camera disaster which has pushed the color grade down that particular path. This might be down to a lack of stage lighting, changes in planned lighting, or filming in the wrong camera settings. Now, I really can't see this being the case. Nish is a true pro, and I'm sure the production team are absolute true pros as well. I'm just scarred for life, having worked at the very bottom end of the barrel of stage and theatre for many, many years. Now, was there anything I would do differently? Well, because of the colour grade, you don't really see the audience as much. And on things like the 50-50 shot, where Nish is on one side, the audience on the other, it looks as if he's actually talking into dark darkness. Now, I just personally love to see the audience in a special. I think they do make up most of the show, and so I would personally prefer to see them a little bit more. So finally, was it successful? Well, according to Comedy IQ, Nish has been up in the comedy charts for a few weeks now. There's loads of great clips circulating online between Nish and 800 Pound Gorilla, which is where it's being hosted, and couple that with Nish's regular TV appearances over the past few years to grow his name, he's clearly onto a winner.